Yes, welcome to KKTV. And in the studio, we have Dr. Ondimo. How are you?
I'm doing well, and you?
I'm fine. It is finally over. Kenyans went to the polls and they have decided the leaders for the next 5 years. And we want to start first with giving IBC the scorecard. How did the IBC do in terms of management of voting, uh, counting and the tallying of elections, and the transmission of elections? What can you say?
Um, Overall, the IAPC, just to give them a high-level summary of a scorecard, I think they've tried. They have tried in the circumstances in which they find themselves in.
Mhm.
There obviously have been challenges, including the postponement of elections in two counties and some other constituencies
Mm.
because of mix-up of ballot papers. That shouldn't have happened at all. In this
Yeah.
time and age, I think that was uncalled for, in my opinion.
Mm.
Um, Ideally, they should have done something from the very beginning to do some verifications
Mm.
that they are ready for it. So,
Yeah.
in specific situations, we can say they hit below the bar.
Mm.
But overall, as the transmissions have come in, we can see that they have been very transparent. I
Okay.
think it's very viable, and I think even the winners or the losers will be able to go home saying there's going to be a handshake.
Okay. So you so to your uh, analysis is that they managed the voting very well.
The voting, yes, preparations, there were a few glitches here and there. I think they would have been more transparent, more accurate. Take for example when they said that the pictures of some aspirants were not appearing where they should be appearing. In my
Mm.
opinion, they would have been able to provide some electronic verification process for the aspirants to look at the ballot papers in advance to
Uh-huh.
confirm that that is actually what is going to be appearing in the final outcome
Yeah,
of the papers that will be printed.
yeah, the proof. I mean,
Yeah,
was it hard to do even proof online? Like
exactly. That's
they
what I'm
had
talking
people
about.
to do the proofing that for every this constituency they verify everything is all right.
Yeah,
And
correct.
who, by the way, who is going to pay for the rerun election because this is a new expense? Is it the company which was given this?
Yeah, I think they need to do some auditing and look back, and then they need to learn from this experience and
Mm,
find out where did they go wrong.
mm,
Because number one, it's very expensive, not only for printing out, but
mm,
also for candidates. They had prepared, they have worked their hearts out, they spent money,
mm,
millions of shillings were spent in campaigning. So
mm,
are they going to be given another period to campaign?
mm,
I mean, it's a mess. That's what I'm saying. It's a small mistake, but it's very costly mistake. They would
mm,
have not done that.
mm.
Very costly.
Yeah, and then we have been having a transmission of results. This is what happened. The IBC is like it has left the media houses, every media houses, because they get the raw data from the polling stations. Now, some media could start counting from Mombasa, others from Eldoret, others from Kisumu. So that's why they are having different, kind of, they are having different results. For example, before we came to the studio, that's what in a nation, that is what is showing that William Ruto is at 50.20, Raila 49, and all they are saying total votes cast already is 13,300,000. That's, for example, that one. And then we have from KTN showing Ruto at 49.7 and Odinga at for 49.6. And then there is another one, I don't know, Citizen, but it's not showing, is almost the same, which is so we are having all this jargon of results coming from different media houses. What could you say about that?
Two things we can decipher from this. Number one, the transparency in which IEPC have been able to provide every Kenyan to see and grab whatever information they have.
Mm,
But it's very good for us, I think. It's very good for the public to see that different media houses have different results or
mhm,
different outcomes. But at
mhm,
the end of the day, when all is said and done, these media houses will be giving the same results.
mhm,
Some of them are, like you said, they may be beginning from some county in Mombasa, some will begin from the county in Northeastern, and some from Kisii County or from Kisumu County.
mm,
And therefore, that's the reason why they're having this many different numbers on their screens. But at the end result, it will be the same.
mm,
However, what I was hoping that these media houses will do as well is to say exactly where they have counted. Their cherry picking is not well organized. If I
mhm,
were those media houses, I'll be grabbing and starting. Hey, we are starting from Mombasa County, and this is
mm.
where we are at. Mombasa County,
Yeah.
presidential, they finish from there, they move on and on. At least they give us an analysis where they're at. They're just giving us the numbers, and we don't know where they're counting from. In my opinion, they're also disorganized. Remember, the media houses were the ones pointing fingers to the IEPC that they are
Yeah.
not organized. Now they have seen how daunting it is to organize
Yeah,
our figures
to
and stuff.
collect the results.
So I think for us, I think it's also a running moment for them to get organized in the future
Yeah.
in a way that they can provide that data in a manner that can be deciphered by the consumed by the public. So
Mm.
generally, I think it's a good thing for us.
Thank you very much. Oh, we are joined with Ben. Ben,
Yeah,
welcome.
thank you so much, Dr. Thanks so much.
I know you
I
have been
think,
having glitches a little bit, but it's good you
ye-
have joined.
yes, I
Yeah.
think Dr. Lim is very correct.
Yeah.
The only difference I can be able to chip in a little bit is why they are having a differences is because when you are abroad in IPC, you pick any.
Mm.
Because if you are Omandi, you can pick from Kitutu Chache. So when somebody else is going to pick, can pick from Nyaribari. Or that's why they are different. But the end of the day, they will be the same.
No. But
Because
the confusion they have brought. I
uh,
mean, no. Let's say IBC, as Dr. Nimu said,
yes,
the media houses were the one blaming IBC. Now IBC left. Okay, these are the polling, the 34A from all polling stations.
yes,
Put them together and tell the public.
yes.
I think they have appreciated that the IBC has been doing a daunting
Oh
job.
yeah, yeah. That's
Uh,
true. That's
yeah.
and I in advance I want to congratulate the IPC. They are doing a very good job for transparency and accountability. I think by now they are doing very good
Okay.
because anyone can go there. You can add the figures and get the results by your own.
Yeah, but also, don't you think there is a confusion here? Everybody is calling shots. I have
Yes.
seen so many results. I don't know if you have seen the many results online.
Yes. KTN and the citizen they have a different one. They are behind. Actually,
No,
when
no.
Chepkadi was asked,
Eh,
he said that citizens they are very behind.
mm,
KTN they are somehow ahead, so
eh.
they are not the same. Yes.
So do you think that is that's good? What can we say? Are they doing okay?
Yeah, they are doing. If they are not messing up, giving us different numbers, they are doing well until they have 100%. When they get 100%, that's when we see who's right, who's not right.
Now we have this is what I just got right now.
Yeah.
That is UDA presidential provisional results. According to them, William Ruto is already past 50. And they are celebrating about it. Okay, SK Macharia, he has tweeted saying, finally I can say, prepare for Raila Amolo Odinga as your president. And you know,
I
this is
saw.
a
I saw.
media authority. Amani Manyora, one of the political analysts, says IBC will announce and declare the winner of the presidential election. The results are on the IBC public portal. The results are final. Anybody working faster than the media should have the winner. I can now call it this election. This is Baba's election. These are the things coming. What do you have to say about them? And you know, these are very respected people. Wow.
What I can say about those, eh, again, this is a good entertainment for us, I would say. That's number one.
Yeah.
It's very entertaining because we find ourselves in two formations, call them
Yeah.
four formations, but majorly two big formations.
Mm.
And every formation was doing their online social media war, where they are kind of saying, mine will be winning, mine will be. It's more like a campaign, so that at the end, if there is any litigations that will be brought to the Supreme Court, they will be at least energized to do so. But more specifically, what I'm telling you is the political formations, UDA, they actually know the final outcome. They already know.
They already know.
As Mio, they already know because they had agents in their every precinct. They had agents in every polling station, so they knew actually as of yesterday. They already know who is the winner.
Oh
They
yeah.
already know.
People already know, and you can see even the mood in Kenya. People know it's only that they are waiting for an announcement.
Yes, you can tell from if you look at those serious people. Forget about the bloggers who are always yelling and shouting even without looking at the numbers. The serious people who don't want to name names here already know, and you can tell from those serious people that they are actually preparing for their winners swearing in coming up soon.
Yeah.
Dr. What I can also add on what Dr. Ondimu is talking about, it is good for us because transparency, everybody is satisfied, but we should not hear what the Macharia is talking about, KTM is talking about. We should hear from Chebukati
IBC.
himself. Let's wait for IPC. Nobody should panic of anything. Relax until Chebukati announces the winner.
Now, the question I want to ask, where we have been having a problem, and we have to see here, what has really changed from the other previous elections? We had the same, we used the same system 2013, 2017. What has it changed? I've not even seen people complain.
Something changed, and that's a very good question, actually. What changed this year's election is what the Supreme Court told IEPC when they nullified the previous elections. If there is anything that will go down in the history of Kenya, is the nullification of the presidential elections of 2017. They really changed the trajectory on how elections are held in Kenya. They gave recommendations. Those recommendations are being followed. They say, for example, why are you? They will ask them very good questions during the case, and they were asking them, why were what were you using to count? What were you projecting in those screens?
Yeah.
They were asking, and they didn't have answers.
Yeah.
So because of those hard questions, IEPC went back to the drawing board, and now they are actually doing exactly what Supreme Court told them. So if there's anything, Maraga and his colleagues of 2017 really changed on how Kenyan elections will be held in the future going forward. And perhaps I'm going to add this: Kenya is going to be a model of how elections are held, not just in Africa but worldwide.
Yeah, that's very correct, because
that's very true. And what has also changed is Chebukati said very clearly. He said, if it is a problem from the constituencies, that's final. If there's an error, we are not going to change anything. Even Chebukati himself, he said he can be able to identify an error and attach it there. Court will decide. If you
he would only put a note, and only court would change the form.
Yes.
And they actually, the Supreme Court ruling of 2017 said election is supposed to be simple and verifiable by the public, and which I think they did, because you see there, this is how the election tallying part is. From the polling station, after they have counted the presidential election, they fill Form 34A in front of our agents, and then they scan it from there direct to the National Tallying Center. And then they take the copies to the constituency where all the polling stations within that constituency are compiled together in a constituency, and then they fill Form 34B, and all of the agents sign. Then it is transmitted to the National Tallying Center, which is then they will compile in the National Tallying Center when they get the original 34As, and then they fill from 34C.
Yep.
Then they will issue the certificate to the winning presidential candidate from 34B, which I think has been so transparent because last time, even some of the 34A were missing in the portal, which is not happening, which did not happen this time.
That's correct.
That's
And,
true.
and now they are simple and they are verifiable. Actually, they are very transparent. And I believe if Arusa is going to be there, obviously there is going to be 3 of them. They will not complain. If they ever complained, I don't know what else they will complain about, unless there is only polling station issues that may have happened. But transmissions have been very good.
Yeah, but even we are seeing so many members of parliament conceding defeat. Actually, I've seen many losers who have come out and conceded defeat after the votes have been counted.
Yeah, from Rangata. I saw one from Rangata, and it was very, very smooth.
Yeah. So, okay, let's now come to result analysis. What is your take on the turnout of election? This turnout compared to other previous turnouts? Ben?
This turnout was very low. Can you hear me? I hope you can hear me.
Yeah.
It is very low than any other election that we have done in Kenya. And I'm blaming Central from the mountain because maybe they didn't have any of one of their own. They didn't come out. Remember what happened in 2017, 2013? You could not even go to any hotel in the mountain or Central without showing that you have voted. This time around, they were not excited. The turnout was very low, 34%. I was looking at it and I said, wow. So this benefited, I can say Raila, because Ruto was really up there, wanted to succeed. If they could have come out, really, Ruto could have gained a lot of votes from Central. Okay, another places, before Dr. I leave, I was so disappointed to see Raila going to vote with 1 million people on the way. I mean, what time these people went to vote? That's what happened in 2013. These guys who are supporters of ODM, Asimio, they don't vote. They only come to the ground, but they don't vote. They don't even have IDs. They escorted Raila to vote, but Raila could not even, the agents would say, when are you going to vote, those guys? Maybe they didn't vote. You saw it from Karen all the way to the polling station. I was so disappointed. So the raw turnout was very poor, but it is smooth, and I mean, we can see the results coming out.
Okay.
My take, I'll look at it from 3 perspectives. Number one, from the world view, comparing to other countries, and also then locally, and then comparing it to previous elections. Let's start from the previous elections. In 2013, the turnout in some strongholds was in its mid-90s to upper 90s.
Yeah.
Some actually were cooked because they went to 1 or 2%, which was, I mean, you can't have 1 or 2% turnout. And it's impossible to have 100% turnout because in between the time of registration and the voting dates, some people are sick, some people have died, some people cannot make it. So it's impossible to have 100% turnout. However, what I would say is 2013, the turnout was 86%. That was a very high turnout compared to anything else that we have ever seen.
Yeah.
Possibly because it was following the new constitution. People were very optimistic. People knew the new governance might really change their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore there was a lot of optimism amongst Kenyans, and that's why they went out to vote. So that was 2013. Come 2017, it came down a little bit to an average of 78%.
Yeah.
Somehow people were getting disillusioned. The optimism they had for the new constitution was never coming to fruition. So they kind of said, you know what, it doesn't make a difference. So,
Yeah.
however, 78% is still very high. Then
Okay.
come now 2022, the average is around 65 overall in Kenya. That's a reduction by almost 20% from the previous 2013. That's
Yeah.
huge. Now, going to specific regions, like my friend there, Penn, has said, Central Kenya had 95% average in 2013, 80% average in 2017. Now, 50 something percent average,
56. Actually, 56%.
56% average, that is very low. Maybe
Yeah.
he's right when he said because they had no one of their own. But again, worldwide now, from the world view, the United States, for example, the average voter participation is 50 something percent. You would be surprised. It's not that high.
Yeah.
So, but still, Kenya having 65% is still very good. But some areas like 33%, that's not so good. That's
Yeah.
not so
Yeah, more especially, yeah, like the turnout. More especially, we have the Mount Kenya region. That is Mount Kenya region. We have seen there the counties, the one we call those which are around Mount Kenya. Meru. If you see those are the votes from different areas. 492,000. Kirinyaga 378, Muranga 628, Kiambu 1.293, and then we have Tarakaniti, which is at I think 234. Now, all of these, with that poor turnout, I think it made this election to be not to be much represented, because much of the votes from that region wasn't counted, unless it has always been cooked. Either they registered people who were not there, they didn't show up.
Yeah,
Where
this is an
on the
indictment. Go ahead, my friend.
on the ground,
mm,
I don't have facts, but I can mention what they are saying.
mm,
There are two things that I want to point out.
mm,
One, the candidate, they didn't do a very good job. When they call for campaigns, rallies, people are coming too many.
mm,
Even here in America, we had the same problem, but Obama could say, don't poll, go vote.
mm,
He would stress that the go vote. Your vote is the power. So they didn't do a good job on that. Secondly, I'm told people were buying IDs to discourage other people to not to vote. I called somebody, said, oh, there's 1,000 here. I have to pick 1,000. I give them my ID. And I said, no. You are saying you are right. So how many people did that? Anyway, the number can be very negligible, but that's what they were saying. And again, as Ondimu said, we are doing very good. On the third world, Kenya is doing very, very, very good.
Now, what do we read from these numbers, raw numbers? More especially, I wanted to zero in on the Mount Kenya region.
Yeah, that's
that was a very big drop.
Yeah, that's a very good question, because even me, I've been looking at those numbers and I've been amazed. Because the previous four cycles, Mount Kenya has been voting very overwhelming since 2002. Numbers have been coming out of that area that are overwhelmingly so huge. Yeah. Now it's almost 50%, less than 50% of what we have been seeing. So there is need for us, or some political researchers, to go find out what exactly happened. There might have been some, who knows, conflated numbers previously, and now this is the true picture of what Mount Kenya is, or the fact that they had no candidate and the people were disillusioned, and therefore they were not willing to go and and vote. That could be the reason why. But honestly, sitting here, There are very many questions, and those questions cannot be answered by armchair talkers like us. They need to go somebody to go to the ground, do research, and find out, is this really true that people really never turned out? Or is it true that people never used to turn out anyway? And this is the true picture of Mount Kenya.
Exactly. See the consistency when, say, for example, with the trend we are seeing, the favorite candidate they had was William Ruto, and they were trying to return the favor. See the turnout in 2013, 2017 from Ruto's stronghold in Rift Valley, how they voted for Uhuru. They voted overwhelmingly in a very high. Can we say they were fair, even if they say they have returned the favor? Did they really return the favor according to the turnout?
Yeah, I think that's a difficult question to answer, but I can be able to say this. They were disappointed. One, in quotes, they are saying Uhuru didn't give them what they expected of him. So they said, oh, we have lost our business. This has been done. So we are really going to be against Uhuru. That's number one. Number two, look at the matters background. He could not even deliver votes for Raila. And again, Katundu, where Uhuru comes from, Uda is the MB. That's very discouraging for the president. So even the MCAs. So this is it was like, let us show him that we are the people to decide. Some said, oh, we are not going to vote because of this and that. There are some things, as Dr. Ondimu talking about. We will send somebody to come and tell us exactly what happened. Yes.
Yeah, at the same time, I think also to add on what you just said, it's very interesting that people never came to vote. And there could be another angle of looking at it.
Yeah.
And this is it. Dr. William Ruto has been going to Central Province castigating Uhuru Kenyatta and telling them, hey, this guy never did anything for you.
Yep.
This guy never did anything for you. This guy never did anything for you.
He's taking your business.
The last 4 years, it sunk. But when you look at exactly what he's talking about and what is on the ground, the road network in Central Kenya,
in the Central Province,
is completely different. So William Ruto shot himself on the foot. He made those people get disillusioned. He wanted their vote, but he discouraged them at the same time. So in order for him to win, he had to point a finger to Uhuru Kenyatta. But what he didn't know was the same arrow he was using was pointing down to him. He discouraged those people to come vote because they were thinking in their mind, if one of our own cannot help us, who is William Ruto? So I better stay at home.
But in that case,
in other words, it was
in that case, then they could have gone to vote. They voted for Raila in the protest of what Raila.
Correct. And number two, Raila has been demonized, not just one time, not one cycle, but cycle after cycle for 20 years. So just like here in the United States, we have Democrats, when they cannot wake up and go and put a process vote and vote for a Republican. They say, you know what, I better not vote. But they don't know that not voting is also voting.
And again, Daktari, to sell Raila in the mountain, it was like pushing on a high hill. Why? They were saying, oh, Raila he can't help us. He's a killer. He's this and this. So when Uhuru came back and said, no, these are gentlemen. So it was very hard to sell him. Wherever he got, that's what he actually did a hard job to do.
Now, coming on that, and I wanted us briefly to talk about Uhuru.
Yeah.
Uhuru actually supported Raila against his own people's wish. But the way things are, it looks like Uhuru's support might yield fruit. What can we talk about the legacy of Uhuru in terms of managing his succession?
So maybe I'll take a minute here and my friend will follow through. Two things we look at it. From the historical perspective, if we look back to the history of the founding fathers, the father of Raila Odinga supported Mr. Jomo Kenyatta, and he refused to take over leadership when Jomo Kenyatta was in jail. But soon after he came out, he became the president, and then they fell out, and then they had acrimony for a long time, and he put him in jail. So there was that tension between the two families forever. Now, come 2022, Uhuru Kenyatta will go down in history in returning a favor which has been there for over 50 years. That acrimony will now go away. Whether Raila wins or not, that has been washed away. So that thing he did very well. Number two, the population of Central Kenya overwhelmingly have voted for William Ruto. They have returned a favor at the same time. So he cannot come back and say they never voted for him. They have overwhelmingly supported him. So this election generally we can see has solved three things all in one stone. Kuyus have returned a favor to the Ruos and to the Kalenjins at the same time. And also it has brought the handshake, which now we see everybody who is losing, they are saying, I'm going to extend my handshake. I'm going to extend my handshake. So the handshake between the two gentlemen has really permeated into the Kenyan community. So we will not have more violence, I hope not, going forward. So that's how I look at it from those three perspectives.
Okay, Ben, there is a lot of noise in the background. So.
I'm trying to. I'm doing my best now. I agree with what the doctor is saying. Uhuru, there are two problems. He didn't tell us the handshake. What happened in the handshake? What the agreement was? We don't know the fact. Number two, he said, Yangu Kumi, Ruto Kumi. You guys, you can manage your things after 20 years. That was two things that he could not answer the Mount Kenya when they were asking him. So he said, oh, he's a liar. Who is a liar here? So it was very difficult to sell what he was trying to do. Again, when he comes back and says, this is not the guy I can be able to trust. But you have trusted him in these 10 years. Why are you not trusting him this time? So that was not a very good approach. I agree with what Ondim is saying about the historical background of Kenya, where we have come from. Raila, Kibaki. I think Odinga family, and the Kibaki and the Kenyattas. We are all of us in agreement that Raila has done a good job in Kenya. He has delivered the democracy and even the new constitution. He has done a good job. It was a good time for him for this time. But it was not convincing the approach Uhuru was coming up with. Now, to come with the legacy, what I can say, Uhuru has done a good job by being transparent. Some of the areas, he has done a good job. Some of the things. We will not let him down. He has done a good job. So let him retire. The history will touch him.
Okay. Now, let's say, it's true, even if we said, Yangu Kumi na Yake Kumi. Yes. But remember what happened in 2017. Kenya was on the verge of splitting into two nations.
Yes.
That is very true. And I can compare where Kenya was in 2017, like where America was during Abraham Lincoln's time. You know, some situations require making tough decisions. Because when Raila was sworn in as the people's president, surely he said they wanted to isolate the two tribes, and then they make split Kenya, and Uhuru saw an opportunity to unite the country. Even Abraham Lincoln, after the end of the Civil War, he chose Andrew Jackson as his vice president, who was a Democrat, just to unite the South. So what he did, even if sometimes we make plans, can we really judge him wrong because he had to save the nation Kenya as he is living, as you said, that is leaving this nation more united than he found it?
And I'll add
the decision he made is good. By the way he handled it, I think.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, the decision he made is good for the country. By the way he approached it, I think it didn't resonate very well to Kenyans, because he said, okay, it's good to have a handshake, right, come into the government. But we should not push Ruto to the high left outside. It
Well,
was so like
but he
just
remained the vice president. He's still the vice president right now.
yeah. But don't take all the responsibility of a vice president and he's earning from the Kenyans. You know, he was so left. He could have handled him and tamed him so that these two people can work together as a president. Oh, it's not 100% correct, but the way he approached it, it made people to see this guy is an enemy of Kenyans.
Okay.
Really. Yeah.
So I have a different take on that myself. I think when we are electing presidents, we do elect a pair of two people, but the
Yeah.
park stops at one,
Mm.
the president. And sometimes, in my opinion, the
Yeah.
person who handled that handshake poorly was the vice president, the deputy president,
Mm.
because he became so agitated that he had no respect and he could show no respect to the president.
Mm.
Yeah.
In any organization, if a junior is dissatisfied,
Mm.
you don't call your boss names in public. You resign.
Mm.
So he also did a poor job in managing the handshake, because he really the disrespect he showed the office of the president
Mm.
was unimaginable.
Mm.
A country cannot run when we have two people
Mm.
who are the hell fighting in public. That's not acceptable. In 1966,
Mm.
when Odinga Senior disagreed, he resigned. He gave
Yeah.
the senior Kenyatta space.
Yeah.
Likewise, he could have done the same thing. He is so selfish that he couldn't leave, earn a salary for a job he was not doing, yet continue framing and taking credit at the same time. We couldn't tell whether he was opposition or he was in the government. In the morning, like somebody said, he's in the government. In the afternoon, he's not, when things are not running on his way. So he also mismanaged himself.
Mm.
But the other thing I want to add here before we finish,
Mm.
we need to give credit to that young, energetic Dr. William Ruto. He has shown that if you campaign, if you are consistent, if you do something with all the energy, the
Yeah.
outcome is really, really good. He has earned my respect for that.
That is very true. For sure, sometimes we forget to give a credit. This is a
Daktari,
man I saw campaign for Uhuru in 202. He vigorously campaigned for Uhuru. 207, he vigorously campaigned for Raila. And consistently, 2013 and 2017, he campaigned for Uhuru Kenyatta again. But he has single-handedly campaigned for his campaign like nobody has ever done. Whereas we have to give him a credit that he has a self-made man.
Daktari,
Yeah.
I can't go without saying something about what Ondimo said. Really, Ruto was disappointed. I want you to be in his shoes.
Yeah.
Number one, as Daktari has said, he campaigned for Raila. Raila could have not won on 2007 without Ruto. And 2013, he did the same to Uhuru, and he won. 2017, he did the same twice. Now he's asking, well, surely, what have I done wrong in this around here?
Well,
And
our time is over.
he looked at this. I've delivered what I'm supposed to deliver. I've given them the presidency and even the prime minister. They could not even give me deputy prime minister. They gave me a ministry, which I was fired. Now, I feel for Ruto, but as Ondimu said, when you have a boss, you have to respect a boss, of course. But there are sometimes you are squeezed so much. But let's give him a credit where is due.
So maybe next time Uhuru and Raila will campaign for him.
Yes, who knows?
Who knows? They will campaign for him.
Yeah, there's no enemies in politics.
Yeah. Well, we have to stop here. Our time is gone. I think. Thank you for the insight. We hope to continue talking this as we are waiting for the final result of the presidential election, which I hope is going to be soon. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so